Are we?
Oh, it's
Okay.
okay.
Telling Kristen.
All right, we're going to call the meeting to order. Members present, Barrios,
Here.
Castaneda,
Here.
Edmiston,
Yes.
Garcia, no, huh? And then Dew is here. All right. So we have only absent Garcia. Okay, stand and pledge allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Okay. Anything changed on it? No. All right. Barrios. Can I get a Castaneda?
Aye.
Edmiston?
Yes.
And Garcia? No. I mean, Dew? Yes. All right. Public comments. We just have this one?
Just that one.
Okay. Scott Jester.
Should we read the
You want
public
to read
comment
the
thing?
blurb? Or do you not want to read the blurb?
Oh, forgot. Do you want to read it?
Yeah, sure.
Real quick.
Commission?
1 minute. You can sit right
No.
there.
I'll read it, Ron. Can I read it? Will they hear me?
Uh-huh.
If you wish to address the board on any topic, including any item on the agenda, please submit your comments to the board president by completing a request to address the board card prior to the meeting and submitting it to the assistant to the superintendent. The president will recognize those who desire to speak either during the public comment section of the agenda or before the particular agenda item. Each speaker should move quickly to the microphone and announce your name before beginning your presentation. Meetings are taped for later transcription. Each speaker is allocated a maximum of 3 minutes. The president may choose to limit each topic to 10, no more than 20, if substantial numbers of people wish to address the board on one topic. Testimony should be brief and to the point. Speakers should not repeat testimony already presented. Board action may not legally be taken on any item not specifically listed on the agenda. The board may ask that such items be placed on the next agenda for consideration. Testimony is not protected from damage claims for slander. Public charges or allegations may result in legal action being brought by those individuals. The board values constructive community comments and suggestions. It welcomes your participation in the democratic process.
Okay. And we have one, Scott Jester. Sorry about that.
Good evening, I'm Scott Jester, currently an employee at Cobalt Institute in Math and Science. I'm a campus security assistant. It's my understanding that there may be an opening in the Personnel Commission for the board's appointee. I'm a little behind the 8 ball. I didn't find out about it till yesterday, so I've missed the application deadline. It would appear that I will separate service on October 18th. My understanding is the term starts December 1. So I don't know if I'm eligible, but if I'm eligible and if the board would have me, I'd like to present myself as an applicant to serve as the board's representative on the Personnel Commission. That's it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right.
Can we get some clarification if there's an eligibility? We're going to have Mr. Dickinson explain the process and the
So you're
procedure.
retiring, Scott? Is that what you said?
Yeah, he's
Oh.
open.
Yeah, he said he was retiring.
Well,
Okay.
you know me, you know.
I think, oh,
Yes,
Good
Mr.
evening,
Dickinson.
board.
okay.
So at the last board meeting, you guys set a deadline for applications to be due in, and the application process was to be completed by the end of the business day yesterday. At this point, I think there's only one at this point, there was only one application that was actually turned in by the deadline, which was yesterday, by the close of business day, and you guys have that application in front of you.
Mr. Dickinson, it's my understanding we're not appointing though today, right?
That is correct. You guys are announcing the name. That's not the appointee. You guys will appoint at a different meeting that will take place at a later day.
So,
After 30 days from tonight, but within 45 days.
okay, so if the board wanted to appoint him at that time, because we could submit a different name, right?
That is correct.
Would he be eligible if he was currently a district employee, but he was going to discontinue his employment before the start of the term?
He could not be a district employee when he would take the office, which would be, the office is effective December 1st.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
So would you clarify the question you asked, Caleb? If we can bring forth Mr. Jester's name at a later date?
I think you should direct that question, because that's a little
Is that
different
what you
question
asked?
than I asked, so maybe direct it to Mr. Dickinson.
That is correct.
It can be. So when would that date be?
The date that you guys are actually going to appoint the person.
So in that case, if we did that, we wouldn't have the advantage of doing any of these interview questions with him.
That is correct.
So if he can in fact be considered at a later date, what can we do to modify so that he can have the same type of questions asked of him that we would be asking of our other applicant?
Well, just to know, in the past, when you guys have only had one applicant, you guys have not done interviews, you guys have just appointed. So keep that's what you guys did the last time when you appointed the board's appointee. You guys would have to make the decision if you want the person to be able to be interviewed if they didn't meet the deadline for the application. That's a decision that you guys would have to make.
Well, so can we make that decision tonight? Or would it have to, if that decision were to be made, can it be made tonight?
That's your decision.
Okay, well then I would make a motion that we give Mr. Jester the opportunity to answer some interview questions. I know that it doesn't give you the advantage of time to prepare, but if we have the ability to put his name forth at a later date, I'm not saying that that would happen, but if it could happen, why not at least give us the chance to learn the criteria or his desire to serve?
I think,
Well,
Penny,
can I just say something before? Just be mindful, I mean, the cutoff date was yesterday. If you're gonna give people the opportunity to basically apply and interview after the fact, that wouldn't be fair for other people that might have called. And I don't know if other people called or not today, but people knew that it closed yesterday, so that wouldn't be fair for other people who may want that same opportunity. Now, mind you, Mr. Jester did show up tonight and ask the board for permission, but just keep that in mind.
So I'm
I-
making a motion
I also
that,
don't think you can make a motion here because public comments were not allowed to,
oh,
but I think
I will wait then.
for your board member comments, I think you could ask that be put on.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can do that later.
Okay.
Not tonight, not here, not in public comments 2.1.
Any other questions? So just keep in mind, if you guys announce a name tonight, within 30 days, no sooner than 30 days, but no later than 45 days, another meeting has to happen to actually appoint. And at that point, the public does have the opportunity to come in and make public comments during the open, public comment session for the appointee during the open hearing.
Okay, so I do want to give us an opportunity to go through the same process. I know it's past the date, I did hear that. What's the correct procedure to do that? When would I make a motion, or when would I ask that we consider that?
Of when you guys would open up to start the interview process
Today?
today.
Okay.
And can I ask one other question? Can that meeting between 30 and 45 days, can that be at a regularly scheduled board meeting, or must it be a separate meeting?
As long as the 30 days falls within the time frame of a regular meeting. If it falls outside of that, you would have to do a special meeting.
It will be a special meeting because it'll have to be between November 1st and 12th, and we will
Yeah.
not have any regular
And
meetings
so,
during that
yeah.
time.
that's-
Is that why we need to schedule something possibly?
Yeah, within 30 days, isn't it, Jackie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty sure. Okay, all right. Any other questions? All right, can we, the interviews for the candidate here.
So you all have the questions and that
Yes, we
they
do.
do too as well?
I have it.
So you can
All
decide how
right.
you want to do this. Do you want to round robin the questions, or
We
do
can't
you
ask any questions other than what is listed.
No other questions other than what's on that
No,
paper? Don't
only,
deviate
no,
from
can't
it.
go beyond that. What's on the paper.
That's the hard part. I know.
It's a little,
Yeah,
what's the word?
yeah.
Does Paul want to move up?
Okay,
I'm going to interview first.
why don't we just go straight down the line? How many questions are there?
So who came up with these interview questions?
5.
Instead of, because when they answer, they're going to need to come up to the microphone because otherwise we can't hear them.
Right,
Other people can't hear them out in
right.
Acute hearing?
the world.
All right,
It'll fit right in then.
all right, we're gonna start with the questions.
I'm sorry,
and
Barbara, I heard a question. How were these questions?
I'm getting
Oh,
ready to mention that. We have actually 5 questions, and each question,
So let me give some background where the questions came from so if you look at the questions, these are the same questions that are standard questions that you guys have used previous. There's a grading rubric on there, and there's some helpful tips in how to score the rubric or whatever, but ultimately you can score the rubric whichever way you feel inclined. Just know it's a 1 through 5 rubric. But those are the same questions. If you guys were on the last time, those are the exact same questions we used the last time.
okay. Is there any other question on that? All right, we'll start with, we'll go around. And it looks like there's 5 questions, so what we need is one more person since,
Well, you remember, it's the board's appointee, so the board should be the one that scores. I mean, someone else can ask the questions, but it's only the 4 of you guys who would be scoring.
Right, exactly. So what we'll do is start with the first question, and if you don't mind, as a secretary there over there, to ask number 1, and then Penny, you're number 2. Myself, I'll be 3, and you'll be 4, and you'll be 5. Got it?
That's close to one.
All right, that's good.
So which order are you guys going to go in? You're going to have Mrs. Gonzalez
We're
go
going
first?
this way.
No, but
And
as
we're
far as
going,
the applicant-
yes, we're going to have Paula Gonzalez. We have her application here.
Okay, I have the first question. To be eligible for appointment to the Personnel Commission, a person, among other things, must be a known adherent to the principle of the merit system. Describe what means and what you have done in your public or private service to demonstrate your support of the tenants.
I have 35 years of service in the classified employee service, all with public schools. The last 3 years, I have been the board appointee to the Personnel Commission. I have supported the principles of the merit system. I guess that would be it.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Paula, as a personnel commissioner, you may be called upon to hear an employee appeal regarding a disciplinary action taken by the board and make a ruling either supporting or overturning the board's action. These hearings are typically informal, but adhere to basically the same rules as a court hearing. Describe the steps you would take in making this decision.
Participate in the hearing to be sure that I were to receive all of the information firsthand as far as what the charges may be against the employee. And then after the hearing, reading all the notes, all the records, and making my own decision, whether or not what the recommendation is, whether or not to uphold the Board of Trustees' decision or not should stand. But basing the decision on what was presented during the hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, number 3, one of the doctrines of the merit system is that of equal pay for work for equal value. Explain the meaning of this doctrine.
I would say, for example, persons who are doing equivalent type of work, job duties, that they should be receiving the same type of salary, whether or not it be at a different site or a different department. But if the duties are alike, they should be receiving the like type of pay.
Okay.
The merit system and the civil service system of today are personnel programs that both came into being in the 1930s and were spawned by a system called the spoils system. Explain how the system operated and how the merit system differs.
Basically, the spoil system was one in which you could bring in family members and just say, hey, you want a job, here it is, and hire your neighbor. There was no accountability as to why people were offered jobs or promoted, things like that. The merit system changes that. There are rules as to how people can apply, how they qualify, how they test, how they are hired. For example, we adhere to the rules. We don't interview or accept applications after the due date. We do it fair and equally. So that's one of the things where the merit system differs from just saying, hey, come on in. I heard you want a job. These are the rules. We follow the rules to make it fair.
Okay, number 5.
Okay. The Personnel Commission is independent from the board. This independence is guaranteed by the assurance that the board has no power over the commission's budget, its staff, or its authority in several areas of classified personnel administration. This independence, however, can sometimes lead to the board and commission being at odds on one or more issues. As a personnel commissioner, explain what you would do to encourage cooperation between the board and the commission.
I think basically talk, if there's a concern, it should be, if the board has a concern, it should be brought to the commission. And if the commission has a concern with some of the board actions or whatnot that would affect the personnel commission, that we talk about it. I've seen that happen in the 3 years that I've been here. You talk it out. For example, there were questions this evening, how does that work? Can we do this? Things like that. So you talk it out. It's not the board against the personnel commission. We all represent this community. We all represent the employees here. And so we work together. We represent the students. So we talk it out.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
They have to be on the script,
Right.
so that was the last one.
Yes, that's your very last questions, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
For coming forward and putting your name in. All right, so are we going to do this other way?
Do we turn these into Jackie or?
Well, do I make a motion now that we are affording another person the same opportunity? If he is eligible to be nominated at a later time, wouldn't it be nice that we could hear the responses to these questions?
I would second that. That sounds fair.
You
Is
second
that
it?
appropriate, at the appropriate time?
Yes.
Okay, so the motion has been made and seconded.
Okay. Any discussion?
So I think there's been some controversy with the position, but not with the position, with the Personnel Commission. And there's currently an active CSEA, movement to discuss what role the Personnel Commission, if any, will continue to play. And my thinking is, and it's nothing against either the current commissioner or Mr. Jester, but it seems to me that we need an outsider. So someone with a fresh set of eyes sometimes can see things that maybe, someone who's been working for the district or has worked for the district recently maybe would not see. So my question would be, would you be open to sort of expanding it for everyone? If you're gonna open it up to allow Mr. Jester, then could we have an expanded period of, maybe 2 more weeks where people could, say, hey, I want to be considered or something?
So are you making a substitute, a friendly amendment to my motion?
Well, I'm just asking you what you would think about that, to sort of,
Okay, so the rules say that by September 30th, you guys have to announce who you intend to appoint. And if you don't announce a name within 30 days, but 45 days, no later than 45 days, if that name is not approved, the board can announce or select someone else to nominate. If you open it back up and fly it and extend it, that defeats the purpose of the rule. We're breaking the rule. So we need to keep that in mind, that we want to try to follow the rule, that we should follow the rules. So just keep that in mind in making a decision that we want to follow the rules. So just remember, you're not appointing tonight. You're just moving a name, whatever that name is. And if you don't move a name, I'll have to research what happens if you don't give a name, but the rules say you're supposed to give a name. So let's go back and look at the calendar and the process. The rules say I was to notify you guys by September 1st of the appointee. I did it on September 2nd. I followed up with an email that Mrs. Gonzalez, at that meeting on September 2nd, I notified you guys that your current appointee was interested in being reappointed, and then I followed it up after I notified you guys at a meeting in writing to the board president and the superintendent of the intent of Mrs. Gonzalez. We brought the name to the board at the last board meeting. You guys didn't feel comfortable to move the name forward to announce at that board meeting, so we're having this one to have the opportunity for other people in the community. We flew it, we put it on social media, we put it on our Facebook page or Twitter. It went out to the world for people to see, and we gave them, 5 business days to apply. So we only had 1 applicant to apply, so keep that in mind. The rules were followed, so just keep that in mind in your decision.
Well, I agree with your point, but then 12 hours after the deadline is a lot different than down the road, because that could go on like forever. So, we have to make I think Penny's idea, that would be acceptable, but if we extend things any farther, then it looks like we're going against the principles of like what the Personnel Commission does. Like I'm waiting for Uncle Bob to get in here or something like that. But the outside influence, I think that's true, because that's what you have right now. You have one commissioner that worked for Hesperia District and the other one that didn't work for any of the school districts. He worked for the county down below. So, see, that's a fairly good mix.
I think down the road, if you wanted to bring names forward, we could. I know right now, Mr. Jester works for our district. So in considering that, if he was retired, it would be a different spend altogether. In other words, if he was a retired person that was living in our
That was like
community.
when I ran for school board, I started submitting some paperwork and I was retiring, July 1, so to speak. So that was kind of a similar situation
Right.
you're talking about.
And so I think down the road, if we bring the name forward after he retires, and we'll have that kind of time, it would be different. But I think if we brought him forward today, we're kind of doing something that we don't normally do.
how would we evaluate? So suppose, it seems to me he's putting his name in for consideration like after the 30-day mark.
Right.
Right. So how would we evaluate him, or any applicant who we might want to consider after the 30-day period? How would you recommend that we vet them, I guess? Penny, since you put the...
I don't see any other way that it would be equitable except to ask the exact same questions in the exact same kind of format.
Oh, yeah.
Down the road.
Well, you say down the road, but
Yeah.
that's not what my motion is, so I appreciate the discussion, but there is a motion on the floor.
Yeah.
Well,
We're discussing it now.
I think that one of the things that I think Deshaun mentioned, we have to give a name And by September the 30th?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So we got,
Right.
we've got the backstop.
But the name doesn't,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a name, it could change between the next 30 days.
That is correct. So remember,
And it could be no name tonight.
that is correct too. So remember when this whole conversation started a couple of weeks ago, that was the whole purpose of flying it and having people
Right,
the
so we could
opportunity
have a name.
for everyone to have a fair opportunity
That's
to
correct.
interview. And I'm going to piggyback on what Mr. Barrow says. I mean, you guys are kind of going against the whole principle. A deadline was set. So if this was an application process and someone applied for a job and you missed the application deadline to apply for the job, you can't come back and say, oh, I missed the deadline because I just found out I want to apply now. The deadline is the deadline. But the board can do whatever you guys choose to do.
But doesn't the PC Commission, if you don't have enough applicants, extend the deadline?
We do it, that is true, we do extend, if we don't get enough applicants, that is true, we do extend sometimes. That is correct.
Well,
But did we
But-
have any other applicants?
We did not have any other applicants.
it's
Now, I
a-
didn't take the applications myself, the applications went to the superintendent's office, but remember, in the past, I mean, there usually is not a floodgate of applicants that come out on either of the appointee side, you know, there just usually isn't. Like it says, if you go back 3 years ago, the last time we did this exact same process, only one person applied, you guys didn't even interview, you just appointed, so.
So I would say, it seems to me, we need to make a decision on which name to put forward tonight.
Right.
And it seems to me we only have one name, so
We
that
only
should be
have
the
one
name
name.
that goes forward.
Well, not with the motion that I have on the table.
The motion you have on the table, I thought was to add a name, or what were you
To
saying?
interview him at a later date.
Interview
so-
No,
another
it was
later
not to
date?
interview at a later date.
It's to interview
now.
tonight?
Yes. That's the motion I have on the table. I'm not sure if that was clear, Jose, when you seconded it, but let me make it clear. My motion is to interview Mr. Jester tonight.
Works right for
When I
this
can hear, I
job.
listen.
Are you amiable to that? Are you second?
I am.
Did you understand that to be the motion?
I kind of don't know what I think about that
Right.
right now. I'd
Okay,
like to be able to
well,
think.
let's vote on it. Burrows, what do you think?
Just what I said, I agree with Penny.
Yes? Okay. Castaneda?
With all due respect to Penny, I think I'm going to abstain from this vote.
Would you
And-
like more discussion
and-
time? Because I did not call for the vote. If you would like us to discuss it more.
Well, it seems to me that
Why are we discussing it?
we should follow.
Because he
He
needs more,
did.
he said he needed more time. I didn't know.
My thinking is that there's already a process
Oh,
for,
yeah,
built
there's a
into it for, with the 30-day period. There's already that process built in for us to consider additional applicants who apply after the deadline. So my thought is that we should follow the process, but I am interested in having more applicants because I think anytime you have a selection pool of one, that's, that's a selection pool of one.
Okay,
And it's
Penny,
not-
what is your vote?
My vote is yes.
And I vote no. So it doesn't pass. All right, so, the action item is to appoint a personnel,
Commission.
appointment to the Personnel Commission. Do we have a name we'd like to appoint?
I think Paula Gonzalez should be the name
Okay,
because that was our
and I
only
second
applicant.
that. The chair seconds that. And discussion?
I feel like I need to brush up on Robert's rules, but I think for me, this would be a time for me to abstain from this vote because I want to be able to give another applicant the opportunity to ask the same questions because I'm not saying necessarily that that's the one who we would appoint or not appoint, but if we don't have a fair chance to look at the same kind of answers, and even the PC doesn't, they extend the deadline if there's only one applicant for the positions. In this case, we obviously have two people who are interested.
Okay. All right. So we put, I put,
Well-
he put Paula's name forward. And let's vote on that. Burrows?
Well, I don't abstain, so I'll say no.
And Castaneda?
Aye.
And Edmiston?
Abstention.
And Dew votes yes.
So neither motion has been
Passed.
passed or
That's
defeated.
They
That's
both
correct.
would need 3 votes.
We need 3, so none of them passed.
I feel like we need to put a name forward today in order to just be in compliance with sort of the rules of operation.
Okay.
I
do we
mean,
have closed session today?
What happens if there is no name that's put forth?
Yeah, that's right. It's the very first time.
Okay.
It's always a
Trailblazers.
first for certain groups of people.
I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but if I may read the rule, and maybe you can interpret it correctly, and.
Go up to the mic, Paula.
I mean, I get it. This is the first time you guys have had a,
It's the first time we've
Concern
ever done
about
this.
Paula
And we
Gonzalez as
did
the
some other
commissioner.
stuff last
but
time.
let me read you the rule,
Crazy.
so that it can be fair and equitable, because it doesn't seem that it is. By September 30th, the Board of Trustees shall publicly announce the name of the person it intends to appoint or reappoint. At a board meeting to be held after 30 and within 45 days of the date the board publicly announced its candidate, the board shall hold a public hearing to provide the public employees and employee organizations the opportunity to express their views on the qualifications of the person recommended by the Board of Trustees for appointment. The board at that time may make its appointment or may make a substitute appointment or recommendation without further notification or public hearing. These copies were provided to the board. I don't have a way to give you copies now,
No,
but I
it's-
think that makes it clear.
Yeah.
You don't have to appoint me, but I'm just letting you know what
That
your
we can make your
options are,
appointment later.
that there will be a public hearing where there will be more opportunities. However, and I don't know if this is the right place to be saying this, for another applicant after the fact to go study the questions and still consider it to be a fair process, the board is going against the merit rules. What you're judging me on, this board is going against.
Okay. All right.
So how are we going to resolve this? Because I think that there's a need to, I think that there's a need to put a name forward today. If we don't put a name forward today, I believe that the board has abdicated its responsibility. So what's our resolution? How are we going to, like, do we have some sort of motion or?
We did have a motion. But
Weren't we
we
once?
don't have the
Weren't we
votes.
once tied 2-2, or?
No, it was.
Give me the background not recently, but in my tenure on the board.
Is Josh
When
coming?
we didn't have 3 votes for a commissioner.
At some point in time, yes.
Jackie, do you remember the situation? When
So
we
can I
didn't
make a
have 3
motion that
votes?
that we,
You have to have
that we
3 votes.
consider other motions after Mr. Garcia has arrived?
Well, he's not going to arrive, but we should be.
Oh, he's only going to come.
Well, yeah,
oh.
well, he's not here, so he's not here.
You can always put her name and move it forward, and then if you change it.
And then when we
on
get to
the-
that
at the
point,
special meeting, you can change it.
we
if
can
you
change
wish.
it.
Or we could put anybody's name forward.
That's true, and you can change it at the next special meeting. that we
That's why I
have.
was saying, I think that process that you're envisioning is already built into the sort of 30-day period,
If
30
it
to
were,
45-day period that,
if it were, then how would we ever have an opportunity to ask Mr. Jester any of these
You
questions?
don't.
that's what I don't
You
know.
don't.
Just a point, you don't.
You do not.
I guess you would have to do it informally.
You have to ask him yourself.
Basically, there was one application that was received,
That's correct.
and if the board chooses to appoint someone else without the application process or interview, then that's their
That's, yeah.
decision.
So I really think we
Oh,
should just
I mean-
move the name forward
There is.
and if we get to that point, we can change whatever,
There is a concern that I have, and this is why I considered supporting your first resolution, Penny, because I believe that Mr. Jester was given wrong information when he contacted the personnel, or the district office, and he was told because you are an employee of the district, you are ineligible. But it seems that his retirement changes things. But he is
He and
retired.
I spoke after that as well.
He would
Because
be
he called me
retired
to
at the
tell me
time
he was
he would.
he's
retiring.
not retired
Office.
yet.
But does that make him ineligible?
Sure it does.
If he's, well, this is just the process, but don't you have to be eligible at the time of the position, the appointment?
Well, I think that's a very good question. I know that we asked this morning to try to figure it out. Go ahead.
The appointment doesn't start until December 1st, and I don't know when Mr. Jester, he said October 18th, but the appointment actually
is he
starts
retiring?
December.
When?
October 18th.
The middle of October.
Well, we had a similar situation with a board member where her husband was going to be an administrator in, the distant possible near future. And that board member was told that they couldn't be a board member if he was gonna be an administrator. But he wasn't an administrator yet, so she resigned with incorrect information.
Well, I'm not sure who told her that, but I don't. Well, I
I know
think the
we
issue
get
that we
very-
have here is,
Well, the
Yeah,
board-
I know we
the
get
board-
very
The board member told me
confused.
that.
oh,
And then saying, well, is he an administrator yet? No. Then why are you resigning? Well, I was told, so.
Well, I mean, we have to have a name.
Well, let's just suppose this scenario. I plan on moving to Riverside, December. Can I
That's too
still be a
bad.
board member here in October and November?
Yes.
Because I have not yet moved.
I was gonna say,
Yes,
Steve-
but
So
Steve
I
Cox
can
did
still
it.
fulfill.
Claude
But
Knoll
you
did
could
it.
not apply to be a board member in Riverside because you weren't there yet.
Right.
But you could perhaps if the term didn't start until, say,
December.
January.
I don't think so, because when you register with the registrar of voters, you
Yeah.
give them your current address, and if it's in Victorville and you want to be in
Yeah,
Victorville
that's-
in Riverside,
You know,
that's a no-go.
game over.
Lots of people have been charged behind that.
Well, can we revisit the motion that I think that you were making, Caleb, to open it up to other interested parties? Would you please restate?
I do not believe that you will get any more.
No, I can't
But,
do
but
that.
it
We
may or may
can't
not,
do
but
that.
was that your motion earlier, Caleb?
Well,
We can't do
that's complicating things. So I suppose we should interview Mr. Jester, because I think that's the only way we're gonna get a name is if everyone has had an opportunity to sort of weigh in.
Are you making a motion to do that?
Yeah, let's revisit
I would second that motion to interview Mr. Jester.
Okay.
It sounds fine with me, but I still think that doing something after the retirement makes it cleaner.
Yes, I am not going to,
But you don't.
I'm not gonna participate
But you
in
don't
that.
you don't have a name, but I recall back when I was a worker bee, and Deshaun had alluded to this before, that if no name is sent forward, that doesn't disqualify them. It just, the name doesn't go forward. And he said if, end of the process, there is no name or no choice, then the county would appoint.
Would you repeat that?
Oh, God, think I could say that again?
Well, or explain to me, when does the county appoint?
That's not, so this is the process. If you guys can't figure it out, and it takes you 6 months, the person stays in place until you guys figure it out. The Department of Education gets involved for the joint appointee.
Yeah.
That's when they get involved, and they have the
So
authority
I was right,
to
right? See,
supersede
I
Yeah.
do listen.
joint appointee.
Yeah.
This
can't
is
hear
not
very
the
good.
joint appointee.
That is correct. This is the board's appointee.
So, Paula would stay in the position until what action?
Until you guys reappoint someone, either reappoint her or select another name.
Until we reappoint her or appoint someone else?
That is correct. So for instance, if you guys fell outside of the timeline of the 45 days, she still stays because we still need an acting commission.
Right.
But it would extend deadlines then.
But you guys had that situation before, because I remember something like that. I can't remember exactly who it was.
Even for the joint appointee, when they don't make the joint appointee within that timeline, the joint appointee stays in place until the Department of Education makes a selection.
I mean,
But this is not the joint appointee,
That is
so that's
correct.
confusing.
And it's,
This is our appointee, the
That
board's
is-
appointee.
If Mr. Jester's name is the appointee, I think that opens up a huge can of worms.
More than worms.
It seems like it would be
Lawsuit.
better if we were going to
lawsuit.
appoint Mr. Jester, it seems like it would be better to be a substitute appointment rather than his name being put forward today. Because he is currently an employee of the district.
He's an employee, that's right.
I think,
That's the
I think,
problem.
I think I want to withdraw my motion. I really feel strongly that we should submit Paula's name today. And if we want to consider other applicants, we can do so within that 30-day system. But
Mhm.
Paula is the only one who is currently eligible.
Yeah, she is. Right now.
I mean, that's sort of how I feel. It's not that I'm closed off to the idea of Mr. Jester. It's just that I feel that we should follow the processes that have been put in place. And
Because when we're looking at it, in the next 30 days, you can appoint if you decide to change it to someone else.
Yeah.
But then we
can.
would be doing that without having the same equitable questions asked and
Well, he's
answered.
not here anyway, so.
But these questions are the questions for this selection.
Yes.
You could ask him whatever you wanted.
I don't think you can do that.
No.
At the meeting within 30 days and you guys appoint, it's not an interview process. Either you guys will just be reappointing Mrs. Gonzalez or someone will be providing an additional name. It will be not another interview process.
No, can't do that.
I feel strongly that we need, in order to be doing things just properly and according to the rules that the board has established, we need to both submit a name today, and to me, there's no question about which name needs to be submitted because we only have one name to choose from. If we open it up to Mr. Jester, we're putting forward a name. Even if we grant him an interview, we're putting forward a name of someone who is currently ineligible.
He's
He may
ineligible.
not be within that 30 to 45-day period,
But
but
right
he
now,
is currently ineligible.
ineligible.
But then we can also put forth no name and revisit this process.
I don't think that the board rules envision that scenario.
But the rules do allow for that.
Not what I've read. It says that we shall put forward a name.
Yeah, we
It
should.
doesn't say that we have to ultimately put.
But what would have
appoint that
happened if, say, Barbara and I were both ill tonight and we weren't here at this meeting? There have to be contingencies, and this is an anomaly that a contingency might need to be established.
But we have enough people here. We've got 4. So if 3 of us voted for Paula to go ahead to submit the name going forward, you can change that. She read everything that you can do once we get to the point when we appoint the person. This has happened before. I've been here 26 years. This has happened before. And what we did, we went all the way to the point where we had the person that we had moved the name forward because we didn't have as many, and the person themselves were not available, could not fulfill that. So we really had to appoint another person. You can do that once you get to that point. By that time, Mr. Jester will have retired, is that correct? In October, right?
Well, it's my intent to retire as of October 18th.
Okay.
I wasn't.
But,
I got a little
but
bit
right
lost.
now, he's not retired. We have one name that is valid, and we should submit that name right now. And then later on, when we get to that point, we can do that. We can do whatever everybody else wants to do. Do you understand, Penny? Even he's not here.
I understand.
Josh is not here either. But I think the name we should submit right now is Paula, because she is the one that met all the criteria. If that was me, and I did everything I had to do to get to that point, I'd be very unhappy that if I were the only one and you didn't submit my name to be going forward. At least her name should be submitted to go forward.
Whichever way it goes, she remains a commissioner until something happens.
Yeah,
And
I
if-
mean,
if it goes for a long time, then she's still a commissioner.
Yeah, she's still the commissioner.
To me, it's grating, 'cause it would be grating that if we just decide that we're just gonna throw off the board policies and procedures as if they don't apply to us, because it seems like we do have,
We have a merit system.
Is there a board policy regarding this that we could look up real quick?
No, merit system, merit system.
There's not a board policy, Penny, because the rules dictate the process.
Right.
And I just say, the rules were followed from our end, from the commissioner.
You
We brought the
did,
information to you guys.
you guys did the
within-
right thing.
within the-
You actually, on September 2, it was supposed to be September 1, but we didn't meet September 1. But
was one
September
day
2,
later.
all the way for that whole month, we ran this.
Well, other deadlines weren't met. It's not like
What
anybody's.
deadline?
September 1, September 2, I mean, so there are deadlines that weren't met. It was close, just like Mr. Jester was close. So I think that it creates a conundrum.
No,
Yeah,
because he's still working right now.
None of the board policies applies to the personnel
No,
commission.
it does
because
not.
It's totally autonomous.
Does not. And this was established when we had a military base out here, by the way, long before a lot of people were around.
I don't think we had the merit system when the base was here.
No, I'm just saying, when the base was here, the military base, George Air Force Base.
Jose, historical
Sargent.
fact, 55 years in this district, it's been 55 years.
That's right,
How long?
55 years.
a long time.
Yeah, that's, okay. that
And
would be before the
clarification,
base.
what the rule
base
says
was
is
in the
on
80s,
or
right?
about September 1st,
The
so.
base was many years
Okay.
ago. All right,
It's close to 80.
all right, so, does anybody want to change that? And we vote for Paula's name going ahead?
I'd like to move forward like we voted.
I mean, do you have a substitute name that you would like to
Do you want to
enter?
submit any other name?
Not that's available for questioning.
No, there's nothing for questioning. No, there's no name for questioning. All right, so it stands as it is. Burrows voted no, right? Castaneda voted yes. And Edmiston voted abstaining, and I voted yes. So it means there is no name that goes forward.
How can that be the outcome?
That's what we voted for.
After we met
There's been
today?
There's been other votes like this before in the past.
No,
that, you know, came
no,
to a-
no, no, not like this, not like this. I've been around many years.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, working, but I haven't been working.
No, I was
I've
sitting
been
right there in the
working,
front
but
row.
I've been here. All right, what is our next part here? 5.1, community comments,
Closed session. committee
closed
comment.
session. Oh, closed session. Closed session.
There are no closed sessions.
We don't have any closed session things, do we?
Yes, you have a closed session.
Yeah.
There are no committee comments.
Oh, okay.
Surprise.
All right, move to closed
or treat.
session then. Closed session?
I make a motion that we
Move to
end
closed
open
session?
session and move
Go
into
to
closed session.
I second that.
All right, and Burrows,
Aye.
Castaneda,
Aye.
Edmiston,
Yes.
and Dew votes yes. All right, we are in closed session.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like, very similar.
Really? Was it from something she ate?
They don't really know, they called it it's a test and
Yeah.
nothing came back, blood test, she was
Well,
in the ER for a while.
Do you have a picture?
I'll show you pictures real quick. and
Keela,
I'm
where'd
gonna
you
run out
park?
just to-
Oh, I parked in the board member parking.
Okay, I won't count.
We have to close out the meeting. Did Barbara go home?
Yes, no, she's, I hope she's coming back.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, we can always skip it.
You cannot skip it.
Oh, that,
You just keep it.
no, that's fine. I have no problem. I had something I wanted to bring up too.
We're back into open session, and we have comments by anybody? Mr. Burris, you want to make any comments?
Well, just one little one.
All right.
Well,
Make
just
it
one
not
little thing,
long.
okay, and this is basically involves, Dr. Williams and whoever in the cabinet deals with this. Had a talk with one of the city council members, and they are trying to get going / proposing using the Victor Junior site and trying to convert it to like a community youth sports area, like a lot of, towns are doing. And, talk to Liz Becerra, and she's gonna talk to Kevin or Keith Metzler, the city manager, and he's for this kind of a thing. And I think it would be something that, unless we have some grandiose plans for that area, I mean, that would be a great way to help, pick up and bring up that Old Town area, because, any towns I've seen where they've done those kind of things, it kind of brings stuff up, because, the
So would
activi-
that mean that we donate land and they build on it?
Well, I don't know about all the particulars. I don't get into the particulars because,
No, they've been trying to get
that's guys
it
like
for
Antoine's
years.
job and all that stuff.
So what do they
But,
want?
They
it would
wanna
be
just-
something the community can use because they're short of facilities for the youth sports. Softball fields, soccer fields, baseball fields. There's really kind of a shortage around here. And that would be something that, would serve our community, and people from outside the community come in, and I
So are you
just
proposing-
want to make sure that we get back to her, because
Yeah.
she said she contacted you, and I said, well, he's kind of busy, but he'll get back to you.
So you're proposing that we donate the land? I think that was the question.
Or have a
I'm
discussion?
just proposing the idea.
No, we're-
It sounds great. It sounds like something
Yeah, I
that
know.
our community could use.
It's been talked to me
Okay.
for years, but we're
Well,
gonna
now-
do the
now it can happen
facilities,
'cause the
when we do
school's
the
gone.
facilities things, we're gonna talk about all kinds of stuff that has come up. And that's one of them.
That's my community comment, because it's talking about the community.
Okay, who is my next person?
You go alphabetically.
That's the
I think
native.
it's me.
You,
Caleb,
Okay.
Caleb.
Well, I didn't have anything prepared, but I would like to say, since you brought that up, that I think my personal opinion is that any land that we would donate ought to be contingent on the city going ahead with plans to construct and staff an LGBTQ community center, because we do not have one anywhere in the high desert, or, for that matter, anywhere close by outside of the high desert.
Okay. We will talk about
they work out the particulars.
facilities.
I just came
We're
up
gonna
with
talk
the
about
idea with
Yeah.
Liz.
So maybe you
Edmiston?
could have the sports center.
I have no
and
comment.
the
No
LGBTQ.
comment, oh, good.
Hey, there's tons of
Garcia's
ideas.
not here, and I don't have any comments either. Did we have anything to report out? We didn't,
No.
did we?
No.
Oh, okay. So, Dr. Williams?
Oh, no, I don't have anything. to
Okay.
report out.
So, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Oh,
Oh, wait.
we do need to schedule another meeting.
Oh,
Okay.
We
when's
need a
that?
Special meeting between November
When is
1st
that?
to the 12th.
I got a jury
Thank you,
duty
Richard.
thing, I couldn't believe
I was
it.
getting ready to say.
This special meeting would have needed to be done,
Does need to be done.
Needs to be
Does-
done because you guys still have to.
We still have to
so
make a
what-
decision.
why didn't we schedule it last meeting?
No, we
we
couldn't
were
do
gonna-
it last time.
He was gonna
We
fill
had to-
out from this meeting. I
Well, the
assume.
reason it
We have
wasn't
to find
scheduled
out what we
last time,
did from
because I'm
this.
just gonna take the hit. We miscounted the days. We thought that the meeting on the 28th would fall within the 30 days. It's 1 day short.
Okay. It's
you guys
not
have a-
another or thereabouts?
Yeah, it's that
Okay,
timeframe, but
so-
We only have one meeting in
We have to schedule
November?
when?
Yes, we only have one meeting in November right now, which is November 18th, which is the third Thursday, I believe. So if you wanted to do the first Thursday like we normally do, you could have your special meeting on November 4th.
Okay,
I'm just
let's
throwing
do
that date
that.
out,
Well-
but whatever works.
That
for
Mine
you.
is
Oh,
clear.
November 4th.
Yeah.
Mine is clear, so I'm good.
My November 4th is not clear.
Mine is
Oh.
not either between 4:30 and 6:30.
Mine's not too clear.
Okay, we'll pick another day.
All right,
That's
What
my
about the
birthday.
Hey,
third?
good idea though, Jackie.
Just throwing it out.
I could do the 3rd after 4:45.
what, the what?
The third week,
The third?
because we're gonna be at NAPSI.
You know, the next week we're at NAPSI,
Oh,
from the November 10th through 12th or 13th.
Does it have to be on a Thursday?
No, it
No,
doesn't have to
can
be
be
on a
any day.
Thursday.
It doesn't have to be in the evening. It can be in the daytime. It doesn't have to be, there's no
Well,
anything.
some people work for a
I,
living,
I
like
have
Caleb and
jury duty
Penny.
now on the 8th,
And Josh.
so no way.
So the 8th would be great.
No, I have
We can have it
jury
on a
duty. I
Sunday.
got jury duty.
Can we do the 3rd?
None of us work on Sunday.
Can we do the 3rd after
do.
4:45?
Uh,
Can you do the 3rd of?
How long
Third
of
of
a meeting
November?
is this?
3rd of November?
Uh-huh.
Hopefully, it's just the
4:45.
public
After
hearing
6?
and
No, he can only do after 6.
appointee.
Because I'm teaching until 5.
He
So
teaches-
can we
Yes.
do the 3rd after 6 o'clock?
I can do the second after, because I think
The second I can do, Tuesdays I'm off work, I think, like 3:15.
You mean you don't want to go home at 10 o'clock at night?
Tuesday,
Or
the
one.
2nd, I
Oh, these
couldn't
guys
do it
gotta
until
drive.
after possibly 5:45.
No, everybody's going to 6 and, how about Monday the 1st?
Monday,
Monday I could do after 6 or around 6.
what time?
I guess Tuesday's looking good then, huh?
well,
What about
it
the
seems
first?
like either Monday or Tuesday would be after 6, correct?
No, he said Tuesday he didn't have, he was free.
Could you, but I'm not,
But she's not free till.
Oh, but
What
you're
about
not
till
Monday?
free.
6.
To 6?
What's your Monday like? Caleb?
Monday, it's like a Wednesday for me, so it's a 6 o'clock as
At
a,
6 o'clock?
Okay, so would you guys rather do Monday at 6, Tuesday at 6, or Wednesday at
So they
6?
say.
Well, Wednesday.
Wednesday doesn't work for Ron.
no, it
Okay.
doesn't. Okay,
So
so
Monday
Monday
or
or Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Which
Monday or
one?
Tuesday at 6?
Which one?
I prefer Tuesday.
I can go either one.
Okay. I would say Tuesday. Monday I have something I have to do.
Caleb?
I'm
Tuesday?
fine with Tuesday.
Tuesday? Okay.
Tuesday, the 2nd.
Tuesday, 6 o'clock.
Got it.
Sorry, guys.
Tuesday, 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Special
Tuesday.
I'll
meeting.
send you all an email
And this is for PC hearing.
Yes.
and appointment, right?
Okay. Hearing and appointment. All right. Anything else? For the good of the order? Anything else? Okay. Move to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second?
All right. Barrios,
Aye.
Castaneda,
Aye.
Edmiston,
Yes.
Okay.
and Dew votes yes. Garcia is not here. And you want these?
Yes.